Alright, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to talk about green chemistry. Okay, it's a very important topic, a short topic, but nevertheless very important and has recently been introduced in the GATE syllabus as well. So I feel that it is important for CSIR examination. I had earlier also mentioned that it is an important topic, and I had made a video also, a detailed video on green chemistry. If you want to watch that, you'll get the link somewhere over here, right? Now this is an updated video where I'll be quickly discussing the concepts. So now in green chemistry, I'm not going to get into the details of what exactly is green chemistry. It's I think everybody over here would be knowing what exactly green chemistry stands for, right? But there are three important concepts in green chemistry, or three important metrics in green chemistry, which I would like to explain, which is very important from the exam point of view. So the first thing that you need to know on how to calculate is the percentage yield. I'm sure many of you would be knowing this, but let's do a quick recap. Okay, so for example, if we have calcium carbonate, okay, and to this calcium carbonate, what am I doing is I'm basically heating it and I'm getting calcium oxide plus CO2. Okay, so now when I'm taking calcium carbonate, let's say I'm taking 1 moles of calcium carbonate, so its molecular weight is 100. So let's say I'm taking 100 grams of calcium carbonate, and theoretically I can get a maximum of 56 grams of calcium oxide and 44 grams of CO2. Okay, this is what is possible. That I have 100 grams of calcium carbonate, I take and I heat it, I get 56 grams of calcium oxide at max. That is the maximum possible yield. So this maximum possible yield is called the theoretical yield. Okay, and let's say I do the experiment and I get only 54 grams of the product. Okay, that is I get only 54 grams of the calcium oxide. So what will be the yield? The yield will be the 54 upon 56 into 100. This will give me the yield. So this is basically experimental yield. That means after doing the experiment, whatever yield you got upon the theoretical yield. Theoretical yield is the maximum yield that you can get, and you multiply that by 100. That will give you the percentage yield. Okay. So this is what I have written over here in the formula. Mass of product that was made upon the mass of product that could be made. Okay. That means the experimental yield, the mass of product that was made upon the mass of product that could be made, that is the theoretical yield multiplied by 100. If the question has been given to you in terms of moles, then the formula will be isolated moles of the product upon theoretical maximum number of moles that you could have got of the product into 100. Now over here, the product only corresponds to calcium oxide. We are not talking about CO2. So whatever yield we are calculating with in terms of calcium oxide, and that is the problem, and this is where green chemistry comes into the picture. So lot of scientists earlier, what they thought, if the percentage yield of the reaction is very good, then that means that the reaction is very efficient, but that is not true. Okay, let me take another example to help you out with. So let's take an example of the Wittig reaction. Okay, so in the Wittig reaction, let's take a very simple and trivial example. Like for example, if I have cyclohexanol, okay, I'll take cyclohexanol, and to this cyclohexanol, let's say I'm adding the Wittig reagent, that is my triphenylphosphine halide. Okay, so I'm adding your Wittig reagent, and now what are the products that I'm going to get? I'm going to get the alkene, okay, and along with that I'm going to get triphenylphosphine oxide. This is the byproduct, triphenylphosphine oxide. So now if I try to calculate the percentage yield of the reaction, let's say the percentage yield of the reaction is very good because this is my target product. Okay, so I'm going to calculate the theoretical maximum yield of this particular product, and I'm going to calculate how much I got experimentally. So let's say I got 100% yield. Okay, let's assume that I got 100% yield. That means, let's say I wanted 100 grams of this product. Theoretically, I could get 100 grams of this product, and I got 100 grams. So the yield will be 100%, right? But now let's try to calculate a green chemistry metric, a very important metric, that is atom economy or percentage atom economy. So basically what this tells us, that how much reactant you have taken, okay, whatever number of atoms of reactant you have taken, how many of those atoms have been incorporated in the product. This is a very important metric. Okay, again I repeat, the number of atoms that are there in the reactant in total, how many of those atoms have been incorporated in the product, that is what the atom economy tells us. So over here if you see, the reactant is also this triphenylphosphine halide. Okay, so this phosphorus halide is also there in the reactant, which has not been incorporated in the product. So this metric, that is the percentage atom economy, is very important. Now if you see over here, this is the formula: mass of the wanted product Upon total mass of reactant into 100, this will give me the atom economy. Now for this reaction, which was seemingly very efficient, if I now basically try to find the atom economy, what will it be? So we have this is the target product. So you can see mass of the wanted product. Okay, so this is the mass of the wanted product. Over here it is 96. Okay, upon the mass of the reactants. So now what are the reactants? This is my reactant. Okay, and this is my reactant. So I think this has a mass of 276 if I am not wrong, plus this will have 98. Okay, so 276 plus 98. So if I do the calculations, this will be roughly equal to 366 and 374. So 96 upon 374 will roughly give me a percentage of 25.2%. Okay, I'll multiply this by 100. So this will be my atom economy. If you do the calculations, I think you will get a value of around 25.2%. So you see that the seemingly very efficient reaction, when you calculated the percentage yield, it came out to be 100. But if you look at the atom economy of the reaction, it is just 25.2%. So this is actually a very important metric in the green chemistry, and this could be a potential question in the CSI NET examination. Now let's look at highly atom efficient reactions also. So I'll give you some examples, and the most straightforward example that I can think of is pericyclic reactions. Pericyclic reactions have 100% atom economy. I can give you a very simple example just to state my point. That is the Diels-Alder reaction. If you look into this, what is happening? You are using either heat or light. Okay, so first of all, you don't have any other reactant or reagent over here. And what are you getting? You are getting the basically you are getting the 100% atom economy over here. So the maximum atom economy that you can get is 100%, and you can see in the Diels-Alder reaction we have got the maximum possible atom economy. So it is actually applicable to all kinds of pericyclic reactions, be it sigmatropic, electrocyclic. So if someone asks you for the examples, then this is the classical example. One more thing that I would like you to read about is the 12 principles of green chemistry. If you do a simple internet search, you will find out the 12 principles. Just go through them, because there could be a question which might be asked that among the following statements, which of the following statements are not or are a part of or basically satisfy the principles of green chemistry. So something related to the principles of green chemistry also they might ask. So it's better just to go through those 12 principles. Okay. Now one more last metric that we need to calculate. It is a very simple metric, and this is called the E factor. Now what is the E factor? E stands for environmental factor, and it's a very simple formula, that is kg of the waste produced. Okay, so basically waste produced in kgs, or kg of waste produced, whatever you want to remember it by. Basically if you do a reaction, whatever amount of waste is produced in kgs upon the kg of the desired product. So this is a very important factor for industries. So the E factor for pharmaceutical industries is highest. That means the pharmaceutical industries produce the most amount of waste. Okay, so greater the E factor, greater is the waste produced, or less greener is the reaction, or less greener is the protocol. Because over here in the numerator we have the amount of waste produced. So if the amount of waste produced is high, the E factor is going to be high. Okay, and if the amount of waste produced is low, the E factor is going to be low. So a lower E factor means a greener reaction or a greener protocol. A higher atom economy means a greener reaction or a greener protocol. Okay, but the important point over here is that the percentage yield does not tell us anything about the green principles of the reaction. Okay, it does not tell us. Like I gave you the example of Wittig reaction, because over here we are just comparing the desired product. We are not comparing what are the byproducts. So this is not a very good metric to tell whether a reaction is efficient or if a reaction is green or not. Atom economy is something that is very important, right? So these were some of the metrics that I felt were important from the point of view of green chemistry, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and also do not forget to share it with your friends. It helps me maintain the channel, and if you guys basically engage more, then it will basically motivate me more to make more such videos. So anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, again I'll repeat, please give it a big thumbs up. Do not forget to share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Hey guys, so I'm a verified educator on Unacademy, and along with that I'm also available on the Unacademy Plus platform, where I am taking live classes along with other educators. So in case you're interested in attending the live classes, you can subscribe to the Unacademy Plus platform using my referral code, that is SETHI, and that will give you 10% discount. Alright, and in case you're not interested in attending the live classes, you can watch the free courses that are available on the Unacademy. For that, all you need to do is go to the Unacademy website or download the Unacademy Learning app and search my name over there, that is ACT. Once you do that, you will get the access to all the free courses that are available on the Unacademy platform.